Well, historically, American political reporters haven't been asked to put their health and well-being on the line. But now that the White House is a COVID hot zone, White House correspondents are confronting a brand new question. How much risk should they take to do their jobs? Adam has more.
Once a month, BuzzFeed reporter Kadia Goba takes a spot in the White House press pool. But this week, BuzzFeed management told her she'd be sitting out.
It was management's call. They were very clear about that.
Goba says she wanted to be there, even though the president, several White House staffers, and a growing list of journalists have tested positive for coronavirus. But in retrospect, she's glad BuzzFeed was cautious.
Sometimes it is up to the people that pay our checks to go, wait a minute, slow down.
Especially when the people you're covering make a point of doing the wrong thing, like unmasking when you've got COVID, or rolling out a Supreme Court nominee to a jam-packed crowd.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Now, some reporters' frustration is boiling over, including CBS News' Paula Reed, who tweeted that after sitting right by two unmasked aides who are now COVID positive, she is working from home and getting regular tests herself. The White House Correspondents Association is urging all journalists to avoid the White House grounds entirely, if possible. But for Goba and others, it may be hard to stay away.
It's very easy for the press secretary to sit at the dais and tell you what she wants you to know, right? But those questions that you're thinking about, that person in that seat happens to ask the press secretary, like, don't you want that?
Especially right now, when the political stakes are as high as they get.
You know, Adam, I have to say I agree with Goba. I mean, there's nothing like being there in person. You can't really do a virtual press conference. The seating, if everybody played by the rules, would have been fine. But as we've pointed out in the past, the White House sometimes changes the seating. They did it at an outdoor event, put the people side by side, even though originally it had been set up, 6 or 8 feet apart. So, I mean, there's been a recklessness to the White House's approach on this.
Oh, no question. You know that I have said, you and I think have disagreed about this on this show before. There have been times when reporters in the pool have had abuse heaped on them, where I've argued, well, just walk out, stay away for 2 or 3 days, give the White House, a disincentive to treat you that way. I no longer feel that way, in part because we've seen some really important questions asked by the pool lately, including, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, that one about, Mr. President, will you commit to a peaceful transfer of power, which is probably the biggest question in American politics right now, and his reply made news. I give Kadia Goba a ton of credit for wanting to be there. She was actually at that Rose Garden event where Coney Barrett was introduced. She has since tested negative, so that's not why she's staying away. All that being said, I think that the White House Correspondents Association or news organizations have to find a way to put pressure on the White House to make things safer. They have taken pride in their willingness to flout basic directions about how we're supposed to live with and prevent this disease. And if I were a member of the pool, I would be really leery of going at a time when it's fairly likely. We have 4 journalists now who tested positive, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that number go up. So I want to find a way to push them to change what they're doing, because I don't think the MO that they're using right now is tenable.
Well, maybe they ought to just all show up in full PPE, and that'd be a story, and that'd send a message. I don't know how the White House press correspondents can put that pressure. In short, I say they should continue to report. Their employers, I think, should give them the option. They should not be forced to do the job. But if they want to be there and the White House is allowing them to be there, I think they should be there. The White House Press Association, the Correspondents Association says, quote, "We are vital to the American public." I couldn't agree more. I think that if you can't give it up, if you give it up, you're giving up our democracy. I think it's that simple. You're giving up to Donald Trump. Donald Trump wins, and we don't have people reporting from the White House. We talk about essential workers. I think people in the White House press corps are essential workers, and we shouldn't forget that. And I admire everybody who's doing their job right now.
Well, I would agree with you, except back to those employers, they need to understand and really have conversations with people who are going in that space, because we know what that space is. Guess what? It's so dangerous that Mitch McConnell will not go there. And he's on the record saying that. I'm not going to the White House because they don't follow any protocols. And by the way, I don't think Mitch McConnell's protocols are tight enough. So you can imagine how bad it is at the White House. So having said that, then I think the employers really have to equip people with more than masks, masks. They have to do all that they have to do to protect them as much. They have to have constant testing, and they need to feel comfortable being there. Walking away, I believe, would give this White House exactly what it wants, which is no coverage from anybody they think is giving them a bad story. So it really is a hard situation because this is life and death. We're not, talking about something light here. So employers need to work with the folks who have to go there, but there's got to be real strict protocols on the behalf of the employees, and to do what Adam said, if you can, as a group, try to pressure them to do better. I don't know it's going to work, but okay.
I agree with Callie. I think that it's incumbent on the employers, on the media, to provide their employees with the right protection. But remember, the press isn't there to make the president look good. They're not there just to be stenographers recording history. They are the eyes and the ears and the mouth of the people in that room, people who don't have access, everyday people who need to know what's going on and who can't ask the questions. Those reporters are there asking them. That said, I do wonder whether there are resources to create a safer environment, whether it's full PPE or whether it's doing something like what the AP does. While White House pool reporters rotate in and out, the AP White House reporters have a pool of their own, so they rotate in and out. So that's not the same person going into the same dangerous environment every single day. They take turns, and that can help mitigate some of the issue. But I also think that the White House can easily say, okay, you want it to be safer, you put pressure on us, we're going to stop holding these press conferences, and then the people who lose are the people of the United States, the voters.
And what would you do? Because, even this rotating system, that's more and more people. It's different people every day. I think I might even feel safer with the same people every day. Would you go in?
It's a hard call. I would go in if it were up to me. I would, if I were sending someone, I would be equipping them with full PPE if I could, and 95s if I could get a hold of them. I would be instituting my own protocols. I would have them returning to a hotel. There are lots of things you could do, but it takes resources that many publications just don't have.
Adam, would you go in?
As of this moment, no, I wouldn't, because you know what? If I were covering that, and if I get COVID-19, unless I'm staying away, which is a possibility, if I come back home, then I give it to my family, which is the last thing I want to do. If I were going to go in, I think I need to keep myself remote. I would just add that it's not an all or nothing choice between walking away for good and going there and accepting the status quo. One thing they could do, for example, is on just one day only, say, we're going to pass today because we want the American people to know that you are being unsafe and you are keeping us from being safe as we try to be your eyes and ears. That's a possibility.